Alrighty, we are live, so we'll be, sorry, what? Oh, no. Alrighty, we are live. We'll be starting in about 2 minutes, I think, but the room is starting to get pretty full. So, Pavel, Arnav, where are they? Arnav, can you do a check on the live stream? I'll just send you the link. Works? Is it possible to shut that door because there's like a lot of music coming out? So. Thanks. All right, let's get started. Hey everyone, my name is Ananay. I've been doing hackathons for about 10 years now. And in this talk, I want to share everything I possibly can from what I've learned in the past 10 years of doing hackathons. So let's get started. So how many of you here have been to hackathons, first of all? Whose first hackathon is it? Okay, many first-timers. Who's been to a hackathon before? Cool. Okay, so at this point, you already know from the previous sessions what a hackathon is. It's basically a 24-hour challenge where you build stuff using software, hardware, design, or whatever. So instead of telling you what a hackathon is, I want to tell what can hackathons offer you. Well, first off, hackathons offer you great learning opportunities, skills, internships, and a head start to your project. So with skills, you get to learn great skills from your peers that you work with. You get started with coding. You push yourselves to learn certain technologies that you otherwise wouldn't set out time to learn. So hackathon's that kind of perfect environment where you can kind of either get started with coding or upskill yourself in terms of coding, and also the great workshops that they have. Next is internships. How many of you actually knew you can get an internship right out of a hackathon? Okay, so yeah, hackathons can actually get you your next internship. I mean, Amazon's a sponsor here. Why do you think they're a sponsor here? To find great talent. In fact, in this room right here, we have a CEO of a company sitting somewhere who can potentially hire you for your next summer job. So hackathons are really a way for you to shine. And if you were to get a prize, you really get a foot in the door with these companies. So yeah, we've got great sponsors. Amazon and State Farm, I believe, are the main ones today. So yeah, great sponsors, great mentorship, great networking possibilities here. So if they have like a table, make sure to drop in maybe your resume or go talk to them, get tips from them, etc. Next is a head start to your project. You're building that one big idea that you've always wanted to build. And sometimes there's homework, sometimes there's all sorts of excuses for not building it. Today's the day that you actually get a chance to build that idea, if you think that's good. Well, speaking of ideas, let's start about talking about ideas. That $1 million app idea at the back of your head. Today is the day you build it. So, quick question: who's already started writing code? It's what time is it? 3:30. Who's already started writing code? Show of hands. Okay, great. Who's still thinking of an idea? Okay. Who thinks their idea is going to win today? Or tomorrow, whenever the demo is? So nobody thinks their idea is gonna win. Why not? What's that feeling that's stopping you from actually thinking that your idea is not gonna win? So let's talk about good ideas then. What's a good idea? Is your idea actually good? Just think about it. How do you gauge if an idea is actually good? Let's start with a few questions. Have you poked holes in your idea? Have you figured out what can possibly go wrong with your idea? Anyone? Wow, there's radio silence today. Okay. How's your idea different than what's already out there? You know, maybe obviously a social media app that lets you anonymously ask your friend questions isn't what we're looking for. But whatever idea you have in your head, how's it different than what's already out there? The next question what you want to ask is, are you targeting a specific group? Small businesses, people with disabilities, or a large corporation? Is it saving them time, money, or bringing any kind of utility to them? And what's the customer experience going to be like? All these kinds of questions are things to think about when you're looking for your idea. And so these are some good ideas. What about things to think about when you're looking for good ideas? What about winning ideas? I want to emphasize more on the points I previously talked about, these questions right here, by demonstrating some of the winning ideas I had when I was taking part in hackathons, to kind of give you a practical idea of what winning hackathon ideas look like. And I'm also going to talk about the hackathon ideas that did not win. In 2014, I took part in this hackathon called Geek Fest, and we built an app called Build a Farm. And this was an app for farmers that takes in the farmer's area that they have, the budget, and other questions, and tells them which crop will be best to plant. This was a simple Android mobile app. And we had data from a government organization in India that came to the hackathon and offered everyone that data. And we used that to come up with this idea. So the data had weather information, crops, what months the crops are planted in. And we then made a UI to manually also plan the entire fleet, kind of like Farmville. I don't know how many people have played that game before, but so yeah, very similar to Farmville, but a little touch of machine learning back in the day. So this one got a first prize. I got a free iPad. I was really happy. And that was a winning entry. The second one was at MHacks. MHacks is a popular hackathon in the US. Comes under MLH, which is also affiliated with Sunhacks is also affiliated with MLH. And with MHacks, we built a project called Virtual Rooms, which was basically an app to create and share VR-based room designs. So Wayfair was one of the sponsors. Again, you don't have to shoot for the main prize. If there are sponsor prizes, you can shoot for them as well. So we decided to shoot for the Wayfair sponsor prize at MHacks. And the Wayfair sponsor prize was cool. It was a VR headset, and I really wanted one. So what we decided to do was, Wayfair had these, Wayfair, first of all, sells furniture, and they had 3D models of their furniture available through an API. So what we did was we integrated that with our Unity app to allow people to place designs of rooms, of their furniture in the rooms. So this is what the app looked like. So you wear an Oculus or whatever, and you can place chairs, sofas, tables everywhere. And to a company like Wayfair, this is really useful because this is a product they can ship to customers who actually use VR, and they can use this where people can place their furniture and hopefully help them drive sales. So again, you have to build something that's valuable to your sponsor or whoever's giving you that prize. And eventually, Wayfair came to us later on, telling us that this was something they were also building internally, and they decided to give us a prize for this. So this was MHAX. The next one is Bank of the West. So Bank of the West hackathon was, of course, held by Bank of the West. This was at ASU with Luminosity Lab. This hackathon actually got me another iPad, a better one, but also an internship with Bank of the West, believe it or not, and a job at Luminosity. I didn't take the Bank of the West internship, but I definitely took the job at Luminosity. This was a really fun hackathon because all we did was we redesigned Bank of the West's app here. So we made this gorgeous design, the 4 of us, and 5 of us actually. And yeah, I'm just gonna let the video run. Another thing we added into the app that wasn't already there was an option to invest in social causes. That was the extra part of it, but the design itself was made from scratch. So what was common between all 3? All 3 of the winning entries that I had, the idea for them, we spent at least 4 to 6 hours on the idea, believe it or not. We spend the most amount of we spend the most amount of time on the idea. The point of a hackathon is to build a prototype, but the gold in all of that is the idea and how well you can present it. Because look, at a hackathon you're writing shit code anyway. Everyone's writing shit code. It's all about the idea, and I just want to. It's a very simple concept, but it's important to emphasize on it that it's your idea that matters, and how you're presenting it. So if we go back to that one slide again and we look at it again, the Bank of the West entry focused on customer experience. It was the same app, but again, improved customer experience through a better design. Build a Farm was one of them that delivered value to a specific group called farmers. And it was different than what was already out there. So each idea kind of addresses some of the questions, directly addresses some of the questions. It's very apparent how it tackles some of the problems that we're looking to solve. So to come up with a winning idea, spend enough time thinking about it, and most importantly, trust your gut. If you will use your product, then so will, and you can stand behind it, that's when you know you have a winning idea. So it's something that if you will use your own product, that's the best judgment. Trust your gut. Is this something I'm gonna use, or I personally see someone else that I know using? And this is not just applicable for hackathons, this is applicable even in corporate. Tomorrow, if you're starting your own, how many people are considering going into entrepreneurship? Cool. So yeah, this is something that's pretty applicable for if you're going into product management or any of that sort. So down the line, hackathons are kind of like a sandbox where you will learn all of this. So now we get to the non-winning ideas. By the way, that comes with an asterisk because I still got something out of those hackathons, which reinforces my point that even if you don't win, you are still getting something out of hackathons. As an example, in 2018, there was this hackathon called the ASU Alexa Hackathon. And what we built for this was, the prompt was to build an Alexa skill. Turns out ASU's Alexa skill was pretty bad. And what we did was we redesigned it. So we hacked the ASU app, and we built an Alexa skill that pulls all of your classes, pulls your schedule, notifies you when you have a class, sends you a text message when your class is coming up, and you get a Google Maps link to go to it. If you're a freshman, you don't know where your class is. So as a result, we thought that was a good app because we got it all working and everything. Turns out the CIO of ASU called the security team. We did not win, but I got a job with ASU right after that hackathon. And that's how it leads to something, something that's valuable, a job. And that was my first job at ASU. Okay, and then the next one, I forgot the hackathon name. We built, in 2015, I was with really smart, a bunch of really smart guys, and we came up with this idea that we're gonna have these beacons, and a network of iPhones can find them. We did not win this hackathon either. I got exposure to iOS, and frankly, the judges probably didn't see the potential in it either. Turns out Apple calls it AirTags now. So out of this entire thing, I got exposure to iPhone app development because I met up with someone who was really senior in iOS app development. He made the app right in front of me, and I was like, wow, so this is how it's all done. So that's all about ideas. What about your project that you're gonna actually make? So you've got this great idea. How are you gonna make your project that you're gonna show to the judges? Well, the first thing is you have to hack your project really fast. And here's some tips to do that. Don't care about scaling and securing it. Just don't care. You don't have to add a load balancer and support millions of users. You're just creating it for one user at a time. You don't have to add crazy security to it unless your idea is around cybersecurity or deploying at scale. You don't have to care about this at all. Build a great choreographed demo of your idea, and I'm going to show an example in a second of what that means. And the third is use simpler tools to build and deploy your product fast. So Vercel is a really good tool to deploy your website. And if you're implementing authentication and database, Supabase or Firebase are really good alternatives. Even though down the line, the company you're pitching to, or even if you're carrying it on, you're not going to use Firebase, just for the sake of the time limit, and just to make a point, you should consider using these tools since you can go really fast with them. Now, building a great choreographed demo of your idea, that works. That works at a hackathon, and it also works in real life. In fact, there's a company called Apple that actually did that in 2007. Has anyone seen this iPhone demo before? Yeah. iPhone 1 demo? Everyone's seen it? Greatest presentation of all time, right? But if we go back in time,
almost every feature. We played music. We took calls during music. We went to really large and complex websites. I mean, it was a major real demo, and everything was live. So I sat there just sweating the whole time. I was so nervous about it.
When you run into bugs today, that's because it's been worked out. Like then it's just the first time. And you would go, okay, press this one now. Wait 2 seconds, press this now. But it was so choreographed. If you went off the script, it could, right? So you had to make sure when the demoers knew exactly what they were supposed to do at which time.
So again, if Steve Jobs can give a choreographed demo and still successfully launch an iPhone, you can give a choreographed demo at a hackathon and completely win that thing. So yeah, that's the biggest hack, if you will, that basically a big tech company got away with. And iPhone was launched 6 months after that. It took Apple 6 months to get over the software bugs and everything. Because back in the day, if you would go off the script, again, the screen would go completely blank. It's also said that the team that made the iPhone could never get the iPhone to work in even one sequence. The Steve Jobs demo was actually the first time anyone saw the phone work properly. So, and if you go through the demo itself, Steve Jobs actually has a small booklet where it's all like fully choreographed. So your demo has to be good, but underneath that beautiful demo, nobody cares about the shit show that's going on in your code. So let's get to team formation and work ethic. How many of you have already formed teams? Okay. Almost everyone has a team. Okay. If you don't, there's still time. So the quick advice, like the regular advice that people think is good, is just get great programmers. But apart from great programmers, try and get a good designer slash visionary, a product person, a person who can create designs for you and create these mock-ups and everything. And there are tools for that. I don't have them listed here, but Figma is a good tool. Wizard, it styled as uizard.io. That is basically you give it a prompt and it generates the mock-up for you. So those are some good tools. And the thing is, if you have a designer slash visionary or a product person, you're lifting off that time from you're not wasting the programmer's time that they would otherwise spend thinking about the product. There's someone else doing that. So that's a great way to divide the task that, hey, okay, there's one person doing the product, market research, further ideation and designs, and then there's another person who's a rock star programmer building that thing. So even if you don't code, you're still part of a hackathon. You're still a hacker. You're still considered a hacker. Collaborate, but try to work as independent as possible by splitting the tasks amongst people, and pick the ones that you can do best. I think this is pretty understandable. And of course, everyone should be committed to the project. So I know everyone needs 8 hours of sleep. Today's an exception. And if you don't design, code, or do hardware, try doing something else. Something different like prompt engineering, because we're in 2023. It's a different day and age. Use ChatGPT. I encourage using ChatGPT a lot. And yeah, if your app is AI-based, definitely do prompt engineering. And I hope most of your apps are potentially AI-based. And yeah, try and bring as much as you can to the table. So that's about it. Cheers and good luck. You have 24 hours. Any questions? Anyone? Okay. Let's see if YouTube has any questions. Okay, nothing on YouTube yet. Cool.